My monogamous relationship with my polyamorous fiancé has came to an end. I am monogamous. My fiancé is polyamorous. I am leaving her 2 months before our wedding and haven't told her yet. I didn't have an issue with her being poly. Still don't, to be honest. I've dated poly people casually in the past, and honestly we both thought this would be a fling, but we fell in love. We couldn't be apart. We couldn't stop thinking of each other. We supported each other. We carried each other. We moved in together. We want a family. We want kids. She's the best thing that's ever happened to me. I proposed last summer. I still love her. We have rules. She has 4 pre-existing partners from before we met. It's out of sight out of mind mentality. She tells me who she is meeting, but no other details. Her idea to make it easier for me. Her partners don't live near us, so it's once in a blue moon she meets them. Some of those relationships are a decade old, so I've never asked her to be monogamous or to take it away from her. I've met her poly partners. They are great guys, most of them anyway. As a monogamous person it doesn't feel great, but I promised to support her, and considering we're engaged it was working. Why I want to leave her is a few reasons. She has maintained since our first date that she doesn't like public displays of affection. No kissing, no touching. Hand holding is rare. She said it makes her really uncomfortable, so I don't do it. When she's with her partners though, it's completely different. She straddled one on a bar stool once, and rubbed her nose in his cheek, and when they stood up she rubbed her behind against his crotch. In front of me. Another time we were in a group picnic and one of them showed up and she kept rubbing her hands between his legs. It's not comfortable for me, but I let it go. She's with me almost the entire year, but like 4 to 5 days when someone comes in town. But firstly, she's breaking our rules. She knows she's not supposed to do that in front of me. We agreed to it together. Secondly, she never does that with me. Not once, and that's draining. It finally came to a head for me when she wanted to throw a party for us for our engagement because we never had one. One of her partners flew in to surprise her. She got drunk, and if we weren't in public, they would have ended up making love in that bar. They were running their hands underneath their clothes with me sitting a few feet from them. Our friends kept asking me if I was okay. It was that intense. I had to step outside and she came after me after a few minutes. She started crying. I tried to hug her to tell her it's okay and she shoved me away and went back in. We didn't speak the rest of the night. Later that night she wanted to make love and I just wasn't in the mood. I started thinking over the things over the years that have happened between us, especially when it comes to intimacy and affection. She's into very vanilla intimacy. I am not. She's the first person I've had vanilla lovemaking with since I lost my V card. She doesn't even want a spoon because she says she doesn't like it. I found out she takes it up the rear with one of her partners, and does other things that are a no-no in our bedroom with them because she says it's just one night out of the year and allows it even if she doesn't like it. She does things she knows I enjoy, but she won't do them with me. I respect her choices, so I don't do them. She's important to me. About a year into us living together I found a massive toy in her things. She told she doesn't like toys because they feel too artificial and she doesn't want something like that in her. It turns out that toy is reserved for one of her partners to play with her because he likes it. It's there for just one night a year when she lets it go. Then I found out she went hiking with one of them and they ended up making love in public. We were at a private spot at a beach once and when I joked about it and she told absolutely not, she doesn't do that. I realized I'm the safe option. I'm just the person who she can come home to. Doesn't need to worry about what happens in public or bed. I only do the things she enjoys for her sake. I don't like being the safe option. I used to be wild before I met her. And I don't understand, if these were people who she has a decade of relationships with, why don't they know she doesn't like any of this? I spoke to her about public displays of affection, not even lovemaking, once and asked her why she won't do them with me, but she straight up gropes her other partners in public. She got mad and told me I was jealous. Her poly friends told me the same thing. That I'm being jealous and that polyamory is about letting jealousy go. Everything I've read online talks about jealousy. Jealous, jealous, jealous. Of course I'm jealous. I'm hurt. I'm human and I have needs and desires too. Jealous just seems like the umbrella term for an excuse. Does that make me wrong to want to be affectionate with my partner, but I'm apparently the only one who respects her likes and wishes? If someone flirts with me, she's immediately on it. She makes it clear to them I'm taken. She will argue and fight if she needs to. She tells me all the time if I cheat on her she'll leave me. If I sleep with anyone else she'll leave me. She knows I won't do polygamy, it's not my thing, and I would never cheat on her. The chances have happened, and I've shot it down immediately. I only want her. So I want to end our relationship and our engagement. I love her, but maybe I need to think of myself. I don't want to leave her. What do you think? Update, I spoke to her. I told her I wanted to end the engagement and move on with our lives. She wasn't happy. She said she loved me and said this is what she was worried about from our first date. She said she doesn't want things to end. I told her I need more in the relationship. I needed what she gave her other partners. I told her I'm going to be your husband, your main partner for life. I told her I wasn't comfortable with what she does with them around me. I told her she's not supposed to do what she does in front of me. I told her I've taken the advice of and spoken to some people regarding it, and that maybe being in a mono-poly relationship was just never meant to be. She told me she just wants me, she wants to spend her life with me, she wants to have children with me, and grow old with me. For the first time in 3 years together I asked her if she is saying she is going monogamous. She said no, she wants to stay poly. She said her other relationships mean too much to her. She said she won't open up with me physically in public, or the things we do in bed, until she's more comfortable with me. She said she's known her partners for a decade, and so she's comfortable with them. I told her we're getting married, how much closer to me do you need to get? I asked her why she said yes when I proposed if she didn't feel as close to me as her other partners. She just said because she loved me and wanted to spend her life with me, again. I told her it doesn't make sense. I told her I can't do it anymore, and I won't change her, but I won't keep doing this to myself. It was a lot of back and forth. A lot of I love you and I want to be with you on both ends, but hang-ups on both ends as well. We never really yelled or screamed, but we were both angry and upset and hurt. Ultimately, we've decided to postpone the wedding while we figure things out. The engagement hasn't ended yet. I've moved in with a relative not far from our place for now. I think it's over, I've told myself it is. I just feel tortured and hurt. It's been a few days and she tries to call me once every day. I've only picked up a few times. She keeps saying she loves me and will sort it out. I've had some of her friends, poly and mono both, reach out on her behalf. They said they've talked to her about her other relationships and about ours. They said she's really shattered and she wants me to come home, but doesn't want to lose her identity in the process. She came from a very conservative background, and coming out as LGBT and polyamorous was a big, liberating moment in her life. They said to their knowledge she hasn't reached out to any of her other partners and doesn't want to until we know what is happening between us. My family and friends have told me to do what's best for me. My closest friend told me maybe I should move on. He said 4 days a year isn't worth the torture knowing what she does with others even if she is a great person. Some of my friends never knew she was poly, and they told me to end it once they found out. They were angry that I would put myself into a relationship like this. They said I was torturing myself for something I should have always known was doomed to fail. They all really liked her. We had couples dinners with some of them at least once a month. I know my first post didn't paint her well, but she was wonderful, supportive and loving. We started dating before COVID hit, and I lost my job and she carried us for months. She didn't have to, it hadn't even been 6 months of dating. Some of her friends told her to drop me, but she said no and she told them I'd get back on my feet soon. We were quarantined together because she asked me to stay with her because she was lonely, but I know it's because I couldn't afford my rent anymore and she gave me a place to be. She did so much for me, more than I deserved. I've spent every day since I picked myself up trying to pay her back for all she did and still does for me. I know a lot of people have used some colorful words in their messages about her to me on here, but she's not those things. I don't want to lose someone that wonderful. Right now I just feel like it's over and I don't want to do anything except cry and I'm a mess. I'm hoping my head clears soon and that I'll know what to do for me. We said we'd give it a month apart and come back to it, so in a few weeks we'll see where we stand. As of right now, I'm considering it over.